Another amazing story that Warren Buffett tells us also consists of a number of features. I'd like to comment on it. Subscribe to the channel to learn more about the world of business and investing. Do you think Warren Buffett is the greatest investor ever?
Andy Taylor is a good friend of mine, runs the business now. A grandchild is in the business. There'll probably be a fourth generation along the line. So this man in the United States, he didn't invent artificial intelligence. He didn't do anything that, just like Mrs. B selling furniture, that any one of us could have entered those businesses. But he lived by the creed, basically, of delighting his customers and working with people and establishing the relationship with them so that they in turn would want to delight the customers. He couldn't go out there and take care of every rental car possibility, but he learned how to project himself and his attitude toward his fellow man and his desire to make a friend out of every customer. He managed to take very ordinary cars and turn them into this extraordinary business from virtually nothing. And it illustrates several points. One is, you don't necessarily get it right exactly right the first time. The car leasing business, basically you were competing on the cost of money to finance cars. And it's very hard to delight a customer when you just give him the car and tell him to send you a monthly check for 5 years and you'll be back at that time. So his talents were being wasted basically in that business. But at the age of 40, with all of that experience behind him, he found the golden key, and he took a very ordinary business and turned it into an absolutely extraordinary operation. And just like Mrs. B or Rose Bumpkin did with furniture. And he didn't worry about whether the Federal Reserve was going to tighten or ease. He didn't worry about whether the stock market was up or down yesterday. He didn't worry about the things he couldn't change, but he did focus on the one thing he could change, and that was the customer's experience. And I have seen the one that got away, Enterprise. I went down to Florida and tried to talk him into selling to Berkshire, and he was smart enough not to do it. Probably the value of the company has quadrupled since I made that visit. But he was smart enough to see that he would find that business. Henry Ford, as you may know, failed twice before he started the Ford Motor Company in 1903. The test isn't whether you get the greatest business idea in the world the first time out. The test is whether you keep learning as you go along what your strengths are and what you can do for your customers, what you can bring especially to the party. And to do that, you need the education that I know you've received through 10,000 small businesses, but you need a genuine desire day in, day out to delight the customer. I've never seen a business, and I've seen a lot of businesses, but I've never seen one that delights the customer that doesn't succeed. What you want is that customer the next day when they think, do I want to rent a car or do I want to buy some furniture? What goes through their mind? It's the place where they've had a great experience.
Let's comment on his approaches to doing business. After all, he is considered to be the greatest investor. But I think there are a number of inaccuracies. Graham's investment philosophy was originally based on his personal experience of investing during the Great Depression. At that time, the stock of many companies on the stock exchange was cheaper than the cash on their accounts, minus all debts. That is, these companies could be shut down, pay off all their debts, and still be in the black. So negative was the mood in the financial markets. The main idea of investing is to look at stocks as a business. Use market fluctuations to your advantage and look for margin of safety. That's what Ben Graham taught. Even 100 years from now, these will be the basics of investing. In 1959, Warren Buffett meets Charlie Munger. His acquaintance with Munger shaped many of Buffett's future investment decisions, as Munger was an advocate of buying better and more promising companies. Buffett at the time was more focused on finding cheap in terms of the ratio of the price per share to the assets behind that share investments, which led him to Berkshire Hathaway. Interesting facts about Warren Buffett. In 1957, Warren Buffett bought a 5-bedroom home in his hometown of Omaha, Nebraska for $31,500. Today, Buffett still lives in this house with his wife. Of course, he has other real estate, which he occasionally uses, but nevertheless it is believed that he spends most of his time in this house. According to various estimates, the price of Warren Buffett's house today is more than $650,000. Up until 2020, Warren Buffett was using an old Samsung fold-out cell phone. This year, Buffett finally switched to a modern phone. He now uses the latest iPhone 11, but he only uses the phone to make calls. Warren Buffett is very fond of playing bridge. He spends 12 or more hours a week playing bridge online and live. His playing partner is often Bill Gates, with whom Buffett has been friends for many years. Warren Buffett spends 80% of his working time reading. He reads reports of public companies, shares of which he owns or is going to own, reports of companies that are part of the Berkshire Hathaway empire, newspapers, books, etc. Buffett does not have a computer in his office, but he has an iPad which he uses for reading. If you had invested just $1.00 in Berkshire Hathaway stock in 1965 when Buffett became chairman and CEO, you would have more than $27 million today. Warren Buffett's annual salary is only $100,000 and has not changed for many years. Investment in Apple shares turned out to be one of the most profitable for Warren Buffett. Net profit of more than $80 billion. Subscribe to our YouTube channel about investments and leave your opinion about this video. Thank you all.